Alright boys, welcome back. Welcome back to the channel. It's been a while. As you can see, we've gone professional. Professional, baby. Got the new mic, new camera. Obviously, you can see my beautiful face with the new quality camera we got. And, I mean, the production of the video ain't really changed that much, but still, the information is world class, alright? So stick around. We're going to be talking about the 5 lessons of a young entrepreneur by me, Axe. If you don't know who I am, I'm a young entrepreneur from Australia. I'm in the importing of the business of importing and selling goods in Australia. I won't get too much into what I do and how much I make, but I make north of 6 figures a year from doing this, all while working full time. I'm a tradesman full time, or an apprentice tradesman. So yeah, let's get into it, shall we? Okay. Lesson number 1, baby. Sacrifice isn't optional, it's a necessity. And what I mean by sacrifice is sacrificing things that you enjoy doing. Unfortunately, in the world of business, we have to sacrifice certain things if we want to get, our outcomes of our business, or we want the best outcome for our business, okay? It's as simple as that. If you're a guy who likes to, hop on, the PS5 or PlayStation or Xbox or whatever and play games, and unfortunately, something like that, if you want to be a business owner or a successful business owner, you have to cut out. I'm not going to say completely, but like, you're spending hours upon hours upon hours a day playing games, like I know my brother does. That just doesn't work, okay? You can't do that. Obviously, it's important to have a balance. Not really, to be honest. It's not. People say balance, right? And balance is just bullshit because it needs to be extreme. If you want extreme results in business, it needs to be extreme. Balance doesn't really exist. I'm not saying you can't play video games. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is, whilst you're playing video games, or whilst you're, watching sport, or whilst you're playing sport, or whatever, and not doing work on your business, someone else is. Someone else is going to outcompete you. They're going to win more than you. And it compounds as well. Say every week, right, you spend, say, 10 hours, like, on leisure activities or whatever, and your competitor spends 10 hours a week on that. Your competitor spends 10 hours a week instead of doing leisure activities, like actually working on their business or whatever, making money. Well, by the end of the year, what's that, 520 hours or something like that? I don't know how many days that is. I'll pop it up on the screen, but it's a lot of time, okay? So you need to understand that concept. I'm not saying sit there and be a fucking AI robot and work 24 hours a day, 24/7. No distractions at all. What I'm saying is, you need to understand this concept of, if you aren't working on your business, someone else is, and you're losing money, and your competitor's gaining money. Okay? Simple as that. So you need to be locked in like that. And it's more of a mindset thing too. It's like, if you go to do something like, play games, or I don't know, even like read a book or whatever, even though it might seem like something that's net benefit you, if it's not working or doing work on your business, then it's sort of a waste of time. Okay? Simple as that. Number 2, you can only rely on yourself, right? I've learned over my time, or last 2 years of me running my business, that I can't really rely on other people because I don't need them, right? If you don't need someone in your business, right? Say if you have like a partner in business, right? But I'll talk about me, for example, right? When I first started my reselling business, right, the idea came from me and 2 of my other friends, right? And I originally named it KSDR Reselling because it had all of our last names in it, right? And I was the one doing all the work, and these guys just had the name on it, right? So pretty quickly I learned that I could just fuck them off and just do it myself, because I know how to do everything myself now, right? Advertising, sourcing stuff, knowing what to buy, knowing how to sell, knowing how to do meetups, knowing what to sell at what price, and what bundles to do, and what stuff to give away for free so that I can get people come back, and how to retain customers, all this stuff. I know all the subtle intricacies of everything, right? So I don't need anyone else, right? So I only rely on myself. Obviously, if you're going to start a $1 billion company like Amazon, Yeah, Jeff Bezos isn't the one delivering all the packages, going to the warehouses, doing all this stuff. Obviously, okay, you need employees if you're going to do something like that. But when you first start out in business, usually it's something simple, something that you can fulfill yourself, and you don't need anyone else. All right. So I've had other people like come in, sort of my space, my business, and be like, I want to help out and whatever, and eventually it doesn't work out because they get too greedy. There's not enough money, and it just sort of crumbles because I don't need them. They're more reliant on me. Okay. It's different if you need an employee for something. Like if you employ someone, or you find someone who can do something that only they can do. It's a set skill. Say if you're building a website, right? And say you have a friend, you and your friend start up a company building websites, right? He knows how to do like all the coding, all like the back end, all this sort of stuff that's really complex and technical from a computer standpoint. And you know how to advertise, right? You know how to get all the customers in the front end. You know how to contact businesses, get leads, close sales, and you're like the salesman, and you get all the business on the front end, and then your friend does all the work on the back end. Then it's like a perfect sort of yin and yang. Like you guys need each other because one can't survive without the other. Like it's all right, to be the biggest tech nerd in the fucking world, but if you don't know how to get customers in the front door, then you're not going to make any money, obviously. And the same goes, if you know how to sell so well and you can sell everyone, but you can't deliver on what you're promising and what you're selling, well, then it's just a waste of time, isn't it? You're just ripping people off. So, in a context like that, yes, rely on someone else. But if you can do everything yourself, and I would recommend that you learn to do everything yourself within your business, it's going to suit you so much better than, just like having one dude or one friend doing this part, one dude doing that part, and then when it gets to the money, especially if you're operating on really small margins like me, it's not like I'm offering like a fucking 10 grand like package deal or whatever and I can divvy it up between people. It's like individual items which can start as low as $50 and maybe max like $400 or $500, right? So there's not enough money there for me to go like, oh yeah. And because the margins aren't, it's only like 100% margins, right? We're only doubling our money, maybe a little bit more. And yeah, you can only really do that with like e-commerce and like physical product businesses if you're selling on a major scale, right? Like huge. I'm talking about like thousands of items. All right. Number 3, pay your debts. And I don't mean financial debts, but if you do have financial debts, I would suggest you pay them. But what I'm talking about for paying your debts is paying down your ignorance debt. And the word ignorance debt, if you haven't heard it before, which I'm sure many of you haven't, is paying down the debt of not knowing what to do. So in your business, right, when you first start, you think that you're all right at something. Like say you start, again, let's go back to the website building thing. You think that you're all right at building websites, right? And then you realize that, you know what, I'm good at building websites, but I can't get clients in the front door, okay? So you learn how to advertise, you learn how to market, you learn how to get leads, you learn how to sell, you learn all these different skills, right? And then, so you've sort of set up and you've got this base level where you know how to get customers in and you know how to build websites. But then a customer comes along and goes, look, can you do this? And can you do that? And can you do this? And it's all this really complex stuff and you're not used to doing it, all right? So you got to learn and pay down that ignorance debt by learning more skills, learning how to do more complex stuff, learning how to do new skills completely and all this sort of stuff. And then, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 10 months, a year, 18 months down the track, you look back and you go, wow, from where I started, I thought I knew so much. And now I've done it time after time after time after again. I've come so far. I've done so many repetitions, right? That it's sort of just like second nature to me. And my product is so much better. And if your product's so much better, you're going to make more money because more people are going to refer you. You're going to get repeat customers. And you can charge more money because it's just going to be a better product overall, okay? So that's what I'm talking about, paying down your debts. You need to learn the skills that are within your business, right? So that you can create the best possible product so you can get these benefits, all right? If you think about like going to the gym, right? Think about, time under the barbell. So the first day you ever go to the gym and you're on the barbell, right? And you're doing bench press. Think about it. You're all wobbly. You're all over the place. You don't know how much you even can bench, right? You might rack up a heap of weight on there and you get it in a full flat on your chest and you need someone to help you up, right? Or you might get it and be doing 10, 12 reps and it's just like all over the place. You don't know what you're doing. Your technique's very poor. You're not stretching the muscle correctly. All this stuff. But when you go to the gym for the thousandth time, right? You've done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of repetitions. Then you're so much better, aren't you? It's like second nature. You walk in there, you know you've got to look above, see the bar above your eyes. You know where to bring it down, pinpoint onto the right part of your chest. You know how to contract and expand your chest perfectly so that you can get the best hypertrophy. All this stuff, you know which weight to do and how many reps you can do with which weight and how to progressively overload and all this stuff. And it's exactly the same in business, right? So pay down your ignorance debt by doing the repetitions, getting stuff done so you become better. Because I guarantee you when you first start a business, right, you'll be like, man, I'm not making any money. Why am I not making any money? I'm actually good at this. It's guaranteed because you're not actually good. If you were the best in the world, you would find a way. It wouldn't be an issue. Money wouldn't be an issue at all. If you're the best in the world at something, money isn't an issue, right? If you're the best website maker in the world, it's going to get known real quick by some of the biggest companies worldwide that, you're the best website maker, okay? Like, at the moment, I don't mean to be rude, but you're just some kid or some teenager or young adult or whatever who thinks that they're good at something, but they're not. My advice to you, just keep doing repetitions, keep doing the same things, keep practicing and practicing and practicing over and over again, harnessing your skills, harnessing new skills, all right? Developing new skills that are going to benefit your business, okay? And you need to identify your weaknesses and where you're struggling. If you're starting a business, right, and you think you're really good at, go back to the website example again, building websites, but you can't get any customers in the door, start researching how to do advertising. Start looking at how to do Facebook ads, Google ads, all this stuff, right? Like outreach, cold calling, whatever it is, okay? All that sort of stuff, okay? All right. Number 4, goodwill is the currency of winners. Goodwill is the currency of winners. And you might be thinking, man, that doesn't really make any sense. What does that even mean? I'm going to tell you exactly what it means. All right, so goodwill is basically doing good things and doing, positive things to others, all right? So, for example, with me, an example of goodwill is someone buying, say, a few $100s worth of product and me just throwing in something extra on top, a free gift. It cost me $5, all right? But that gesture might cost me or get me, thousands of more dollars down the track. When you're talking to someone, right, say on Facebook Marketplace or whatever, or you're buying something, and the salesman or the person selling the item is just really positive, like they'll reply with good messages, fast times, they just seem overall really positive, like happy to answer any questions, and they just have that good, positive effect on you, and you're like, I want to go back there and I want to buy more from that person, or that was a really good experience. I'm definitely going to go back there again. Even at a restaurant or something, you get a really good waiter and they're just super positive and whatnot. That's how business is done, right? That's what the best businesses do because they understand the idea of customer service and incredibly good customer service, because that's what's going to get you business. That's what's going to get you referrals. That's what's going to bring you thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars back into your company. So definitely something that's worth investing a lot of time into, goodwill. And that can just be as simple as, putting a fucking smiley face on one of the messages back. Say you get a customer, right? It's as simple as putting in a fucking smiley face and saying, yep, still available, thanks. Let me know what questions you got or how I can help you. Something like that. Like I said, for me, it's as simple as throwing in a $5 item. It cost me $5, but it's priceless because how do I know that person's not going to come back and go, I want to spend $1,000 and then I want to spend another $1,000, another $1,000, another $1,000. And they might refer me to someone else who is, one of the best customers. Like I literally have this exact example. There was a guy, right, when I first started business, he bought of me once or twice, right? And he wasn't really a special customer, right? He bought a couple of things, all right? A couple of things. And, you know, I was still nice to him or whatever. I just didn't say, nah, fuck this guy. I'm not going to bother responding because he doesn't buy that much. And what he ended up doing was he referred me to someone who's probably the top spender in my company, has bought the most amount of items off me. And that is just sort of like a, you know, it just came out of the blue. This guy just recommended me to him. And, you know, like that, I've just got one of the best things of all time. It's like one of the greatest assists of all times. You ever seen like that picture of, you know, LeBron and D Wade, where D Wade throws the alley oop to LeBron? It was like one of those assists, right? It was just the best thing ever. And it happens all the time. I get sort of low quality customers, I would call them, because they're not really the greatest customers. They don't spend a lot, but they refer me to people who have lots of money and, you know, they're super good customers. Happens all the time. So no matter who you are or who your customer is or what they might look like, or, you know, even if they look like a little broke boy, you never know who they might know or who they might refer you to if you have the goodwill to be nice, be respectful, to treat them like an equal, and you never know. And usually it's good karma as well, by throwing out that positivity into the universe and by being positive to other people. That positivity is usually brought back to you in the form of monetary gain. And you might think I'm making this shit up, but it's not. If you know, have 100 customers, right, and you're positive to every single one of those customers, I guarantee you they're going to throw business your way, or they're going to do something nice for you or a nice gesture back to you. 100%. Even if they don't, who cares? It's still good just to be positive and just to have goodwill in general, because you get that good positive aura and, you know, reputation around your business, and people want to do business with you. People want to see you. If you're an exceptionally nice person and you have an exceptionally good customer service, and you've got a great product as well, people want to see you because it makes them feel good. They feel happy about seeing you and getting product off you. It just exacerbates that whole sort of sales and sort of business like sense, if you know what I mean. So that's a really important point too. All right, number 5. Super, super important, this one. Belief is success. Belief is success, okay? Have you ever thought about something, right? You ever thought about, like, you know, one day owning a Lambo, right? And you're like, yeah, wow, it's a long way away. It's a Lambo. Like, I can't really imagine myself in a Lambo. By doing that, you're basically telling yourself, I can't get that. I can't get that thing. I can't make that much money. I'm not going to be able to do that. And if you have that belief that you're not going to be able to do something, you won't do it, because you're subconsciously always reminding yourself that, you know, I'm never going to get that far. And no matter how hard I work and what I do, I'll never get it. You always need to have that in the back of your head. Or you're always going to have that in the back of your head. But the best way to get around this is by having just unwavering unconfidence in yourself that you are the best and that you will one day achieve that thing, right? I can dead set look down the camera right now and say with 100% certainty, 100% certainty that one day I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be driving a Lamborghini. I'll be driving fucking Ferrari, Bugatti, have a fucking mansion to buy, all that shit. 100% certainty. That's what I operate on. I don't sit here with 95% and be like, yeah, I'm going to have this stuff, or 80%, or even just say it, all right? I believe it. It's just so solid and engraved in my mind that I'm going to have this, that I'm striving towards that goal, that one day I'll wake up and it'll be there. It will, 100%. Because if you only give yourself one option, and that one option is success, and that's your one belief, and you don't think about anything else, it will come true, right? If I really wanted to be a fucking astronaut, right, and that was all I fucking thought of, I'd be an astronaut, 100%, because that's just how I think, right? And that's the same for anything, right? If I really wanted, because, you know, a lot of people want things, right? They want to be this, they want to be a professional basketball player, they want to be, you know, a millionaire, they want to be, you know, whatever, a professional soccer player, I don't know. But if they really wanted it, you know, they'd be the one that's waking up at 5 a.m. with 100% certainty and going down to, you know, the basketball hoop or whatever and practicing or running or going to the gym, and every spare moment that they get looking at a film of basketball and practicing and dribbling and whatever. That's exactly what it takes. And this sort of links back to point 1 too, where it's about sacrifices too. So these sort of all intertwine in a sense. These all 5 points. So if you only truly believe in something and you only see one outcome, that outcome, it's set in stone, isn't it? It's like a prophecy, right? If you believe that you are like unwavering in a certain thing that's going to happen, it will just happen because that's just your only belief around it. Like there's nothing else to it. As simple as that, all right? It's like these extremists, right? Like, I don't want to talk too much about fucking ISIS and all this shit, but you know how they think? It's like that their only mission in life is to have unwavering faith to God. And they will do anything for that, right? Like they will sacrifice themselves. They will fucking blow up planes. They will fucking go into the fucking Twin Towers because of that, right? Because that's their only belief, and they're so radicalized and they're so extreme in their views that they'll do anything, right? They'll do anything, and it's incredible, isn't it? There's something that there's no sort of solid evidence and proof of. No one's ever spoken to God, right? People are doing shit crazy, sacrificing themselves, their lives, everything to something of a higher power, right? And that's the same with you. You need to have that sort of extremist mentality. I'm not saying fucking go join ISIS, alright? I'm saying having that belief in yourself for whatever goals that you might have. You know, it might be wanting that Lambo. It might be having that $1 million business. It might be becoming a billionaire. It might be something bigger. And also, you need to aim way higher as well. Aim super high, alright? There's a guy, his name's Grant Cardone. He talks about 10x, right? So say if you want to have a $10,000 a month business, right? A $10,000 a month. 10 times 10,000 is 100,000. You should be wanting a $100,000 business, all right? And focusing on that 100 grand. So by the time, so you'll wake up one day and you'll be working towards that 100,000 a month, right? And one day you'll wake up and you'll be at 10,000 a month, and you'll be like, that's what I wanted to do originally. I wanted 10 grand a month. And because I, set my sights higher, I aimed for the stars, and I got to the moon, all right? I didn't get to the stars yet. I haven't got to that 100,000 yet, but I got to that point where I first originally wanted, and that's amazing, all right? So aim way too high as well. And then, once you get to that $10,000 months and you go, wow, 100,000 doesn't seem like that much anymore. I want to aim for $1 million. And then you'll work and work and work, and a year, 2 years, 3 years, even 5 years later, you might sit there and go, I'm making $100,000 a month now. And that your world will just change because you're always setting yourself further and further and further goals. And that one day you'll just wake up in reality and be present and be like, wow, I actually truly made it. I actually sat there and thought and believed it and did all the hard work, and I'm here. But anyways, boys, that'll do for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got a bit of value out of that. And that's my 5 sort of lessons that I've learned over the last 2 years of me grinding business like daily, like hustling hard. But alright, boys, I'll talk to you in the next one. See ya.